Today, our question is how to evaluate a student's creative activity. There's a popular notion that you can't measure creative activity, that it is so unpredictable, so surprising, so unique, you can't really evaluate it. The other widely believed idea is that you should not measure creative activity, because the teacher doing so can hurt the child, offend the child, or misunderstand it. In order not to harm the child, you shouldn't measure the work at all. I can't agree with these opinions. There are various serious reasons why creative activity should be measured, and some clear principles have been developed to help to do so. So why should creative activity be valued? At school and in learning environment, first of all, by measuring creative activity, we give attention to it. Either it's a painting, or some research results, or maybe a developed project. By valuing and analyzing it, we give attention to it, and therefore it gets more valuable in both the child's and society's eyes. By measuring creative activity, we raise its value. While doing so, the children learned what counts as valuable in the grown-up world. If parents and teachers pay attention to child's creative work, if they look at it from different perspectives, if they examine the creative work, if they listen what the child has to say about it, then the child concludes that creative activity and his work is valuable. Therefore, the job gains value. If the painting gets collected by the teacher at the end of the lesson, after which he puts a mark on the corner of each of the work and gives them back the next day, the work does not get valued. It does not get embraced and explored, and the child concludes that this work has no value except to be put on a pile of other drawings. Creative activity has to be measured in order for a child to understand its value. Secondly, by valuing his work, student understands and acknowledges his own abilities, skills, and interests. By valuing his own creative activity, he can explore his own personality, because creative activity involves all sides of personality. During the evaluation process, the child can think about what he knows, what he can do, what he doesn't know, what is important, and what else could be learned. Valuing helps create motivation for learning and setting up goals for further studies and work. Thirdly, by valuing the work of a student, we can also evaluate the work of a teacher. By looking at his student's work, the teacher can see what he did good, what he did bad, and what he should work on. Therefore, it is important for all teachers to see and evaluate the child's creative activity. When we evaluate creative activity, we should consider several principles that might distinguish evaluation of creative activity from the evaluation of a precise exercise. First of all, by evaluating creative activity, we have to evaluate not only the result, but also the process. Sometimes it happens so that the process of creating the work is very wonderful, fulfilling, and varied, but the result is not so powerful and convincing. And sometimes it is quite the opposite. The result is very effective, but it was created not during a creative process, but by reproducing or repeating some already well-known methods. We can't judge the creativity of the work just by looking at the end results. In order to evaluate the creativity of an action, we have to evaluate both the process and the result. The other principle, it is important to let students evaluate themselves. Of course, the teacher will assign a certain criteria or a certain task that the child should keep in mind. And the teacher shows the purpose of that work. But the question is, what counts as more creative? Following by the set of rules or making up the new ones? Very often during creative activity, the original rules change. If the teacher sees only derogation from his own originally set criteria, then the work might be valued with a lower mark than it might have deserved. But if the student has also established his own rules during the work process, in addition to the ones the teacher has provided, then his self-evaluation also lets him tell about his new criteria, which actually is the highest form of creativity. Therefore, when evaluating creative activity, the first comment should always come from the student. And only after that, teacher can add his own opinions and thoughts. The third principle, there is a quantitative evaluation and qualitative evaluation. By evaluating something quantitatively, we compare it to a higher example. By evaluating quantitatively, we look at how much a certain quality belongs to a certain work, and we therefore accept there is an ideal work, which would obviously get the highest mark, and being a 10. If the highest mark is not achieved, then we look at how much it is different, and for every mistake, the mark gets lower and lower. The result of quantitative evaluation can be expressed in numbers, for example, from 1 to 10, or in a certain ranks, brilliant, very well, average, weak. By evaluating work quantitatively, first of all, we compare the works between each other and compare it to the higher example in general. To evaluate creative work, this method won't work. Because for a new, innovative, original, creative work, there will never be anything to compare it to. If the work is creative, it will be completely different from other works, and the two cannot be compared. Therefore, you can use the second type of evaluation, which is qualitative evaluation. The result of this evaluation is descriptive, and the evaluation happens by noticing the specific values of each work and naming them. Every work is valued completely differently and individually, not compared to others. For example, let's look at this painting. We have mixed colors here. While not knowing anything the child has thought while doing this, if I would evaluate it quantitatively, this is what my criteria could be. I can appreciate how many different colors there are. I can objectively measure the contrasts and compare this work to a work full of contrasts, or to a very dim work. I can look at the composition, and if the color spots are on the same size, how rhythmic it is, I can do that, but I cannot assign the mind criteria of creativity. I cannot say how original this work it is. I cannot say how convincing it is. I can't say what revelations it brought to its creator. You can't really say that. Instead, if I evaluate this work qualitatively, I can't assign a quantitative criteria like brilliant, very well, weak. It won't actually say anything about the work. But if I measure it qualitatively, it means I have to describe why this painting is valuable, which would be that this is full of contrasts, it has very juicy colors, It has a happy mood, it's dynamic. When I say these words, the work gets evaluated. The qualitative evaluation has happened. Then I look at another work. And also, in order to evaluate it qualitatively, I had to say that this painting has a very simple color scheme, a very clear composition. It is full of ornaments. It is stable, simple and laconic. And now I have also evaluated this work. If I put them next to each other, I can see that they are very different, and you cannot compare them. This work, greatest asset is its simplicity, the rhythm, and the black and white elements, but this work, greatest asset is its livelihood, dynamism. So we had the main criteria for evaluation. First of all, evaluate the process and the result. Second of all, include the student's self-evaluation. And third, value not quantitatively, but qualitatively. It is easier to measure quantitatively because it guarantees you a certain clarity and simplicity. All the students have the same criteria. They are made known earlier. And if I evaluate each criteria on 3 levels, for example, often, sometimes, never, or maybe very expressed, a little expressed, or not expressed at all, then the evaluation becomes clearer and more simple. But when measuring work qualitatively, you have to keep in mind that the criteria will be very different for every work. One work will be valuable because it is an original, the other will be valuable because it's professional, the third value will lie in brightness. Each time you have to think of new criteria specifically for the work in question. Qualitative evaluation requires more time, more sensitivity, more attention, more wit than quantitative evaluation. But it is also the only way to evaluate creative activity. If the measurement is quantitative, then each work will have certain criteria, and a person can measure each criteria with a mark. For example, 3 criteria: originality, the confidence of the author, and the quality of the design. We ask the student to evaluate. If your work is very original, give yourself 3 points. If it has several original details, give yourself 2 points. If it is not a way original, give yourself a point. If the design is very expressive and bright, give 3 points. If it could be brighter and better, give 2 points. If it's very bleak and dim, give yourself 1 point. At the end, count these numbers together and you will have your mark. That is how quantitative evaluation looks like. This is something that students can easily do. He understands the criteria, he will give himself a point based on the feelings about his work. He can differ original details from unoriginal details. The question is, will this evaluation say something important about the work? Will it say the most important thing? Will it show its main value? If we would evaluate it qualitatively, then the evaluation would be different. There are no previously defined criteria and marks. In order to do a qualitative evaluation, the best way is open questions.
Otra metode ir jautājums vērtēšanai. Nepabeigtie teikumi.
It looks something like this. You ask, what in your work is original? What vibe and mood does your work have? What do you think is the most important thing about this work?
Un šādā veidā
By asking
uzdodot
these questions, the student is forced to name these things and evaluate himself, and notice in which moments one or another work is more visible.
Kritēriju pats pamanīt to brīdi, kurā viena vai otra šī te kvalitāte izpaužās.
By asking how original is this, we give 2 points and it doesn't really tell us anything. If we ask what in your work is original, the student is forced to think. Maybe it's the shape of these windows, maybe it's the decor, maybe it's the contrast between the dark sky and the bright house. Maybe this is what is original. And this is how we notice these nuances. We can ask the author, what surprised you when you did this? What made you wonder? He will have to think about what surprised him, and then he says, I was surprised that when I put a pink shade in that window, it started to glow. This is a criteria that no teacher can predict. So, therefore, qualitative evaluation makes you think about your creative activity, research it deeper, and acknowledge the fulfilling process of thinking and imagining what you achieved while creating this.